Hello and welcome to another edition of the Ask Dr. McKell show, where we help people with chronic health issues, chronic health problems. All right, so today, kind of an interesting topic here. How does sugar, which we all love, affect our immune system? So this is kind of an interesting thing because, there's been some research on this that I want to go over. Because, some people say, hey, when I eat sugar, it doesn't bother me. Some people say, when I eat sugar, I feel pretty horrible, or it makes me sick, or makes me bloated, or makes me feel tired, or, so it's been found that sugar, let's put it this way, may or may not act as an immunosuppressant. And when I say immunosuppressant, that means something that lowers your immune system, compromises your immune system. And this really depends on different conditions of the body. So if you consume sugar, now if you consume a lot of sugar on a regular basis, let's put it this way, this does deplete your nutrient balances in your body. But the thing is sugar also increases inflammation in your body. Now, if you already have an infection, which a lot of people have infections, they don't even realize, different things that live in our gut, especially different bacteria, parasites, funguses, all kinds of things. If you have those, or let's say, even if you know that you have that, you feel lousy, you're sick, or you already have stomach issues, consuming sugar will have more of an effect on you. If you're a pretty healthy person, you're like, hey, I don't have any of those types of issues, then hey, sugar may not really affect you unless you consume very, very large amounts. So the thing to really understand this a little more, we need to understand these immune system cells a little more. And there's these immune system cells in our body, they're called phagocytes. And the word phago comes from PHAG, comes from, it's a Greek word, phage, which means eater, and cyte meaning cell, so cell eaters. And there's different types in our body. There's what are called neutrophils, monocytes, macrophages, mast cells, dendritic cells. So we need these immune system cells for things to work right. In fact, let's go ahead and show a little example of this. So these are phagocytes in motion. These would be your white blood cells in motion. And see those green things? Those are bacteria. And watch it, it's gonna engulf these bacteria here. Watch that, yeah, it's looking for dinner here. All right, oh, there it just got one. And look how it goes inside the cell, and then it'll soon just kind of disappear. And then soon it's gonna go after another one here in a minute. So very interesting. And our immune system works in a way that we really don't even understand. When we think about it in our mind, we think of a certain way. All of us maybe have our own picture of how our immune system works, but we need these immune system cells to work properly. And what they found in these studies is that sugar directly affects the activity of these guys here. So it's not that it decreases the population of these white blood cells, these neutrophils or phagocytes, but what it does do is it decreases their activity. So they get lazy and they just don't eat as much when they're on sugar, eat as much bacteria or other bad guys, or our immune system doesn't help us as much when we're on sugar. So there was a study done, role of sugars in human neutrophilic phagocytosis. So what they're saying is, hey, how do sugars affect my immune system, especially these phagocyte type bacteria that we just kind of showed you. So what they saw with this was that, well, let's put it this way. In the study, they had, of course, people in there, and they fed them different types of sugar. They fed some of them just glucose, some of them fructose, some of them sucrose, some of them honey, and some of them orange juice. And then they waited about 1 or 2 hours And then with that, they observed their immune system. And that's what I kind of was saying there. Their what's called their phagocyte index dropped, which means, hey, their phagocytes, those things we were just looking at, weren't doing their job. They became suppressed. So this sugar had a very negative effect, and that effect lasted for up to 5 hours afterwards. So this confirmed that, yeah, sugar or these simple carbs can definitely affect you and your immune system in a negative way. Now, on the other side of that, though, what they did is they had people fast for about 36 to 60 hours. And then they noticed that phagocyte index increased. Suddenly, the immune system started working, and so again, taking these calories away had another big effect. Now, there was another study also done where they took some mice and they basically gave them food poisoning. They put in a bacteria called Listeria, which gave these mice food poisoning, or rats. I don't know if they were mice or rats. I think they were mice. And basically, these mice would die from this bacteria. Now, so what they did is they said, hey, let's give these mice this bacteria, this Listeria, but let's also force feed them. Let's force feed them two different things. So one group of rats, they force fed fats and proteins. Another group, they gave them a bunch of sugars and carbs. Well, needless to say, the rats fed the sugars and carbs that were infected died. Didn't live very long at all. The mice or rats that they fed the proteins and fats lived. They recovered. So a little difference there. So they needed the calories to help fight the battle, let's say. But again, the fats and the proteins weren't suppressing the immune system. Now, also, we know when you eat a lot of these sugars, this can change the gut bacteria too in your gut, because in our gut we have this microbiome, this whole environment of different bacteria that live in our gut that help us with so many things, and we're finding so many things out about that too, and how important it is to everything, our brain, I mean, just everything in our body. So when people are eating a lot of sugars, this alters that gut microbiome in a bad way, and kind of opens the door to other invaders too. And the other thing that we can kind of interject into talking about this too is artificial sweeteners. Because, you know, it was thought for a long time, hey, artificial sweeteners are fine. They have no calories. They don't have the effects of sugars. But now we're seeing with these artificial sweeteners like saccharin and acesulfame K, which is like it says sweet one, or your sucralose, which is your Splenda, or again, the saccharin, which is like the sweet and low. These supposedly non-caloric alternatives, they have giant negative effects on your good gut bacteria. They've been shown to really alter that good gut microbiome, which of course that opens the door to all kinds of other conditions. So not a really good alternative there. So really kind of bottom line, you know, sugar does impact the immune system. It can have negative effects there. And especially if you already have health issues, and especially these man-made sweeteners, these artificial sweeteners, aspartame, high corn fructose syrup there, and just really bad stuff. So, all right. Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed this information today, and don't hesitate to please share us on social media. We'd like other people to get this information too. I think a lot of people need to know a lot of this stuff, because there's a lot of people out there who have health conditions who have no idea there's other alternatives or things that they can do. So I do ask that you share this information, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, any of these or any other sites. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful day, and God bless.